Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and deconstruct a totally universal urge I know we've all felt at some point. We're talking about stress shopping and the retail therapy trap. Now, if you're tuning in, you already know we aren't just talking about picking up your weekly groceries or, finally replacing those running shoes that are completely falling apart. We are talking about that 11 p.m. out-of-nowhere hyperfixation on buying a countertop pasta maker that you are absolutely never going to use. So today we're going to unpack exactly what's happening in your brain and your bank account when you fall into this habit, and look at how you can actually reclaim your peace of mind. Picture this scenario for a second. It's 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. You've just wrapped up a completely exhausting, overwhelming day. Maybe a big project went sideways, maybe you had an argument, or maybe the general weight of the entire week is just pressing down on your shoulders. So, you sit on the couch, you pull out your phone, and you instinctively open your favorite shopping app. Before you even realize it, you're endlessly scrolling through items you definitely don't need, just tossing them into a digital cart to treat yourself. Sound familiar? It's incredibly common to use shopping as a coping mechanism. But why exactly is this our default response to a rough day?
Well, that brings us to Section 1, the retail therapy myth. Let's contrast the culturally accepted idea of retail therapy with its actual psychological reality.
When we actually define retail therapy, which is the act of shopping to find momentary comfort or distraction during periods of stress, it becomes super clear what we're actually dealing with here. You aren't really looking for a new sweater or some fancy new tech gadget, you're looking for comfort. You are looking for an escape hatch from your day. And honestly, recognizing this is incredibly empowering. It shows us that this urge is a well-documented, deeply human response to stress. It's basically your biology attempting to soothe itself. It is absolutely not a personal failing or some total lack of willpower.
Moving right along to Section 2, Why Stress Triggers Shopping. Let's uncover the underlying mechanism of why hitting that Buy Now button feels like such a magical quick fix.
What's really fascinating here is the brain chemistry. You see, when we're stressed out, our brains are basically starved for a win. We are desperate for a sense of reward. Enter the dopamine hit. Now, surprisingly, studies show this massive rush of dopamine, that amazing feel-good neurotransmitter, it doesn't actually peak when the package arrives at your front door. The peak happens right in the moment of anticipation. The simple act of browsing, imagining how your life is going to be so much better with this new item, and the final act of officially placing the order, that is the exact moment your brain gets flooded with dopamine. Your brain registers the purchase as a victory, which provides a rapid-fire temporary shield against whatever was causing your stress in the first place. You feel energized, you feel excited, and most importantly, you feel in control again. But as we all know, that feeling definitely comes with an expiration date.
Which brings us to Section 3, the psychological trap. When the dopamine finally clears, what are we actually left with? Let's look at the real consequences.
This destructive loop of stress shopping almost always follows the exact same pattern. It kicks off with step 1, the stress trigger. You feel bad, anxious, or just plain tired. That leads directly into step 2, the browse. You seek out that distraction and the anticipatory joy of looking at shiny new things. Then comes step 3, the purchase, where you secure that peak dopamine hit we just talked about. But then inevitably, the package arrives, or worse, you look at your credit card statement, leading straight into step 4, the remorse. That temporary high completely evaporates, leaving you with an item you likely didn't need and a really sinking feeling in your stomach.
And right here is where the trap snaps shut. The intended effect was so simple, right? You just wanted some stress relief, a fleeting moment of joy, a feeling of taking control over something in a totally chaotic week. But the actual outcome? Well, you've just introduced financial strain into your life, and that creates compounded anxiety. The comforting illusion of shopping has completely backfired. You've basically just replaced a temporary stressor with a much more permanent one.
This leads to what we call the compound effect. And guys, this is where things really accelerate. That buyer's remorse and the brand new financial anxiety from your actual outcome, they don't just exist in a vacuum. They feed right back into your baseline stress levels. That guilt becomes your brand new stress trigger, effectively locking you inside this continuous, fast-paced hamster wheel. You feel stressed about the money you just spent, so your brain immediately seeks a quick dopamine hit to feel better about that stress, so you open the shopping app all over again. It's a completely vicious compounding cycle.
So how do we get out? Section 4, breaking the shopping cycle. We know how the trap works mechanically, so let's build an actual exit strategy.
Here are 3 highly actionable takeaways to help you interrupt that dopamine loop before the purchase is ever finalized. First up, recognize the emotional trigger. Next time you open that app, stop and ask yourself, am I bored? Am I sad? Am I just angry? Literally naming the emotion strips away its invisible power over you. Number 2, implement a browsing pause. Go ahead and put the items in your cart, but force a 24 to 48-hour waiting period before you check out. Just let the dopamine fade naturally. 9 times out of 10, you're going to look at that cart the next day and wonder why on earth you ever wanted a neon green desk lamp. And third, seek non-consumptive relief. Find an activity that soothes your nervous system without requiring a credit card. Go take a walk, call a friend, read a chapter of a book. You've got to swap the financial drain for an actual emotional recharge.
I want to leave you with one final, absolutely crucial thought to reflect on as you go about your week. The next time you find yourself aggressively adding items to a digital cart after a really long, hard day, just stop. Ask yourself, what are you really trying to buy? Is it peace? Is it rest? Is it validation? Because once you figure out what you are truly shopping for, you can finally start giving it to yourself for free.